I beat Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen with Vaporeon, Jolteon and Flareon, but can I beat it with Espeon as well? The Psychic Eevelution isn't available in FireRed and LeafGreen, so this might be a fun Pokemon challenge. Here are the rules. I can only use Espeon in battle. I can catch other Pokemon since I need HMs to finish the run. I cannot use any items in battle besides Pokeballs, and held items are allowed. With that said, let's begin. I use a universal Pokemon randomizer to change Charmander to Espeon. This way I can play the whole run with just the Psychic Eevelution, and it isn't available in this run anyway. But why Charmander? The opposing team will have a Blastoise, which has Bite, but that's not the interesting part. Executor and Arcanine will be very tough to beat with Espeon, so the final battle might be too hard in the end. Also, it has a plus special attack nature, since special attacks will be most likely the only type of moves it will use later in the game. I went ahead and leveled up quite a bit, since I already knew that Brock will not be possible without reaching level 16. The question was, is it possible to beat Geodude at level 15? And while I think it is, it will take a long time. Even with 6 sand attacks, Geodude will sometimes hit for 5 damage, and I'm pretty sure Espeon only hits for exactly 1 damage. But why do this? I just felt like it, that's it. I assume Espeon will have a very pleasant time through Kanto, and this is most likely the most miserable battle for a long while. Anyway, I beat up Caterpies and Metapods until Espeon needs slightly below 220 experience points, which is the exact number Geodude will give when it goes down. Leveling up gives Espeon the ability to use Confusion, which is great, since Onix has very low special defenses and goes down immediately after a single use of Confusion. Brock is defeated, and it took way longer than it should, but at least we can now start the run. At the end of Mount Moon, I take the Helix Fossil. While I cannot use it, I heard it is the best to take and I should always mention it. Arriving in Vermilion City, I waste no time and go straight for the rival at Nugget Bridge. Of course, I visited a Pokemon Center before doing it. I have Confusion, my opponent has weak Pokemon, so I use Confusion and destroy each of them. Pidgeotto needs 2 hits, even got a Gust in, Rattata needs 1, Squirtle needs 2, but was too shy to fight back. And Abra? Well, Abra tanks Confusion easily, which might be a small problem for later in the game, but I'll check it out when I'm there. The rival is of course defeated, even stomped, one might say, but I need a strategy against Psychic-type Pokemon, and fast. Maybe Secret Power is the key, because it usually is. Just this time, Espeon has an insane low physical attack, at least for Eevelutions, but let's try it out. Misty is a lot stronger than I thought. Resisting Psychic is bad, and hitting Neutral back is even worse. But there is a way to win, even if it's not nice. First is Staryu, and it is a mono water type Pokemon, so 1 Confusion is enough to knock it out. Starmie, however, completely different beast. I was quite confused why Secret Power refused to paralyze the opponent. This was quite unexpected. Water Pulse deals good damage back, or bad damage, however I want to look at it. Person Berry is ready just in case, but it wasn't needed. I just used 1 quick attack to put Starmie into range for another Secret Power KO, and it never used Recover. Misty is defeated, and it went quite easy because she wanted to help. This has to be it. I went right over to SSN in Vermilion City and thought there isn't anything to do besides beating up this rival. But that battle was a very sad. Wow, Espeon is a powerhouse, it's crazy. I wonder when it will stop, one-hitting everyone who is here. Well, technically I need 2 hits for half of his team, but that's besides the point. Comparing Espeon to Vaporeon, Jolteon and Flareon, there's quite the difference. Well, Vaporeon is the closest so far. Anyway, the rival's done and I can grab the HM for cut. Then hop over to the Vermilion City Gym. Lieutenant Surge, what can I do to make this battle hard? Granted, even Vaporeon destroyed him easily, so an Eevelution cannot do it. Voltorb and Pikachu went down against 1 Confusion each, and Raichu not only survived, but had double team to get a free turn to use Thunder Wave and let both be paralyzed thanks to Synchronize. But Espeon hits regardless a little bit later. Lieutenant Surge is defeated and nobody is shocked, and I move on to the way harder part of the game. Right after Rock Tunnel, where nothing relevant happened at all, is Lavender Town. And here's the Pokemon Tower, but most importantly, this is a meet-up spot where the rival waits for another rematch. Pidgeotto is quite weak at the moment, but it does survive a Confusion and a Quick Attack even hit critical. Can I beat this battle? Wartortle is here and it needs 2 hits, but a bite was used to lower Espeon's HP even further, not looking good. Well, Growlithe might reduce attack with Intimidate, but Confusion is special, so it doesn't matter. Execute, however, is the first bad Pokemon. Confusion deals way more than Secret Power, I tested it earlier, and it could use all the bad moves, but it just dealt some pitiful damage and went down. Last Kadabra and I went for Secret Power. And of course it never paralyzed, besides the situations where it's not needed. One Swift afterwards and it is over. The rival is defeated and I have a feeling his team might pose a lot more problems later on. After that hard battle, I arrive in Celadon City and here starts the most important part of the run. The one thing that changes up the run the most. I received the tea from the old lady. I can give it to the thirsty warden to enter Saffron City. And here lives Mr. Psychic, who has a TM Psychic for me. This is the strongest move Espeon can have. And since Espeon is a one-trick pony, I grabbed a PP up lying around in Celadon City to increase the power points of Psychic. With a new toy in hand, I want Espeon to challenge Erika as soon as possible. And of course she has absolutely no chance. The PP up looks a bit funny now, that I only needed 3 Psychics to beat her whole team, but it was just in case, okay? To be fair, most of her team is weak to Psychic, and Tangela cannot do a lot anyway. So yeah, Erika never stood a chance, let's see how Giovanni will take it. And on the way over there is another hidden PP up, having more Psychics, just sounds better, right? And here's Giovanni, the leader of Team Rocket, and the leader of the pact when it comes to losers. His team should just roll over, and while Onix did just that, Kangaskhan has Fake Out, survives the Psychic to hit back with Bite, but goes down in the end anyway. I'm a bit scared of what Kangaskhan can do, it's crazy. Rhyhorn doesn't matter here, just one more hit to remove it. Giovanni is weak, but his Kangaskhan is just on another level. That Pokemon is great. Well, after beating up the Marowak in a Pokemon Tower, rescue Mr. Fuji from Team Rocket, and wake up Snorlax east of Celadon City, I can enter Cycling Road and grab the hidden rare candy. To enter Fuchsia City to challenge the gym leader Koga himself. His team only contains of just mono poison type Pokemon. And I have an Espeon with Psychic. His team never stood a chance in the first place and will just get removed one by one easily. Sometimes I do feel sorry for Koga, but then I remember he's trying to use Minimize with Muk, so I don't care anymore. After selling all items I don't need anymore, and some I might actually need later, I was able to just barely buy the TM Shadow Ball in the game corner. It's not necessary for the next major battle, but I need it later anyway. For example, against the rival at Silph Co, I sneaked through with only battling that one rocket guy to grab the key card. Anyway, this battle was very easy. Even with most of his Pokemon surviving at least one hit, I am that much stronger to easily take it, at least for now. The only status move the rival can use is Stun Spore and Poison Powder with Execute. But poison doesn't really matter to me, while paralysis can be annoying, so I went for a Cherry Berry. And Alakazam has no damaging moves, and even if it had, I'm not sure if it could beat an Espeon with Shadow Ball anyway. The rival is done, and I expect the final battle to be brutal, but it's still a bit until then. I'm not sure why I went back to heal for Giovanni, but it's just what I do, I guess. His team should fall immediately to the power of Espeon. Well, Kangaskhan maybe doesn't. Fake Out deals quite a bit, and Mega Punch looks very scary for a moment, but it's all Giovanni even can do. To be fair, it's Giovanni, leader of Team Rocket. It's not like I only have an electric type Pokemon here. Anyway, defeating Giovanni wasn't a big deal, and this concludes the Silph Co arc, but it's not all there is to do in Saffron City. But before I leave, I can grab the last PP up I need to get Psychic to the maximum power points possible. And I went right over to Sabrina. I cannot wait to defeat her, because there's one thing which brings Espeon from one of the best Pokemon to the single best Pokemon in one click. First is Sabrina's team. It's horrible weak to Shadow Ball. Well, not Venomoth of course, but I was actually positively surprised that Shadow Ball is strong enough to one-hit KO every Psychic type Pokemon Sabrina has. That's amazing. Beating her gives me one more badge, but more importantly, the TM for Calm Mind. Boosting a special attack and special defense in one use will mean that every Psychic attack is now as brutal as it can get. So let's try it out against this random trainer on a random island. He's called Blaine, but what does this even mean? First a Growlithe and I went for Calm Mind, while Fire Blast missed. Well, Espeon has a high special defense anyway. Arcanine is actually a legendary fire dog, and it survived the hit. Wow, that's crazy. And takedown came back as a critical hit. This was very close. Ponyta next, but one cycle removes it easily. And Rapidash is too slow to do anything. Blaine is defeated, and it was actually a lot closer than I expected. If Growlithe had hit with Fire Blast, maybe Espeon would have gone down. The champion battle will be brutal, considering Arcanine will have extreme speed as well. Before I challenge the last gym of Kanto, I want to hop over to the Savvy Island. It became a part of my to-do list while traveling around Kanto. On 2 Island is a hidden item, another PP up, but unfortunately Psychic is already maxed out, so I will not use it. I'm not sure how I can sugarcoat it, so I just won't. Giovanni is the last gym leader of Kanto, but similar to the Vaporeon run, all I needed was 5 Psychic power points and Giovanni is defeated. I know Jolteon struggled a lot here, and Flareon did need a lot of help as well, but Espeon just runs through the team as if it's nothing. Well, I got the last badge, and that means the easy part of the run is over. I'm looking forward to the next challenges and how I need to change up my strategy, if I can even call it that. The next part of the run would be Victory Road and then the Elite Four, but the rival will stand in my way on Route 22. This is the first try to see if I need to change up my strategy or maybe need a specific health item. First pitch out and I went for Calm Mind, setting up some more damage, and of course Aerial Ace hits and crits, always nice to see. Next Blastoise, and while Psychic deals great damage, it is not enough, but Rain Dance will most likely not help in any shape or form. When Rhyhorn entered, I knew it will go down immediately anyway. Growlithe has Intimidate, which is bad for Alakazam later on, but at least it didn't really resist before getting knocked out. Here's Execute, and I know it will get a lot harder in the champion battle, but for now 1 Psychic is all it took. And finally, Alakazam. It cannot do anything because Psychic is resisted. Espeon has a natural high special defense and Calm Mind boosted it too. The rival is defeated, and this was to be expected, but I wasn't sure how the turns will play out before trying it. I think I get the last items I may need for the Elite Four and see how it goes. But after thinking about it for some minutes, I realized it's basically only the TM for Reflect on top of the Celadon department store. I could grab Substitute, but I hope that I won't need it, at least not in this run. That's all I can do now. I'm at level 50, it's lower than any Eevelution so far, and I have 13 rare candies in the inventory. I grabbed all of them as I showed in the Jolteon run, so let's do this. And I just walked into the Elite Four without any further preparations and wanted to see how strong they really are. And the first one is Lorelei, which should be a nice warm-up. First Dugong, and I thought I'd go with Calm Mind as long as I feel comfortable doing so. Seeing Hail first and then a little bit of damage Surf did, but I thought 3 should be enough, right? It's already so many boosts. 1 Psychic and Dugong is gone. Next is Lapras and it survived the Psychic? That is horrifying. Maybe Espeon's special attack is not high enough? Confuse Ray is my nemesis, but I still hit after the full restore and immediately snapped out of it. That is great to see. Next is Cloyster and I just went for Psychic, but should have gone for another Calm Mind, even though no Protect was used. Slowbro will resist Psychic and actually survive with the worst possible move, Amnesia. While healing up, I used 2 more Psychics to lower the HP back to the yellow area and see another Amnesia. Just wanted to get it over and Shadow Ball hits, but didn't KO. That is frustrating. At least Slowbro didn't go for Yawn. Last is Jinx, another Psychic type, and it did survive a Psychic as well and went for Lovely Kiss, but missed. Guess I got really lucky this try. Lorelei is defeated and it went a bit rougher than I thought, but the next one should ease me up a bit. As one might imagine, Bruno is not a big deal. Most of his Pokemon are weak to Psychic, and the ones who are not weak to it have a very low special defense. Just using 1 Psychic after another to defeat everyone. Only Machamp survived one, which was a bit bad to see, and not only that, I'm on the last power point of Psychic, so it's first Calm Mind and then Psychic to get the KO. A missed cross chop looked funny too. Bruno is defeated and that Haika can now go back to the mountains for some training. Maybe next game he is a bit more dangerous. Agatha is a ghost type trainer, or at least they say she is, but she's actually the poison type trainer and that's a huge difference. Ghost would be quite bad while poison is perfect to see. I actually thought this battle might be the one where I may need to change up my strategy, but it turned out that Espeon is faster than any of her Pokemon and Psychic without any Calm Mind boost is already strong enough to beat her easily. That is crazy, but I like it. I don't want to fight Agatha in her specialty. That is annoying moves, by the way, since I will lose every single time. Like against Lance, it's crazy. There's actually a fun strategy to be found, and that is Gyarados using Hyper Beam in the second turn, so I can use Core Mind, get an extra turn to use another Core Mind, and then KO with Psychic. Aerodactyl is faster but cannot hit a lot thanks to Reflect, goes down 2. Dragonite is the big issue. From this point on, it will use Hyper Beam and knock Espeon out even through Reflect, but Espeon is faster and could use a move, so here's the strategy. I reset back before the Elite Four, beat Lorelei and level up to 52 to learn Morning Sun. I know self-heal moves aren't that popular, but this is a perfect time to use it. Back to Lance, beating Gyarados the same way, that is Core Mind first, then Reflect to use another Core Mind and knock it out with Psychic. Aerodactyl is here, but the same happens, tank whatever it does and knock it out in return. No Dragonite is here, it will use Hyper Beam, so I went ahead and used Morning Sun to restore the HP and just barely survived the hit. It was the last turn of Reflect as well. I just used 2 Psychics to beat Dragonite and this should be it. Dragonair is quite weak, goes down in one hit, so does the second Dragonair. Well, they are not weak, it's just Psychic is so strong with 2 Core Minds on top. Anyway, that's the Elite Four, and now on to the champion, but without Shadow Ball. That could be an issue, let's see. I have a feeling this battle will be very tough, and I might need to level up a lot. I still have all the rare candies in my bag, didn't use a single one yet. First is Pidgeot and I want to use Reflect and then not 1 but 2 Core Minds. I think this is a perfect amount to stave off the damage while beating up the team. Also, while Sand Attack might be an issue, Feather Dance showed me that Shadow Ball would have been useless anyway. Next is Arcanine with Intimidate, so Espeon's attack has a minus symbol in front. But one Psychic removes the Fire Dog. Here comes Blastoise, and this battle was very sad. Psychic missed, not once, but twice, while Hydro Pump pummels Espeon and the HP got quite low. When Psychic finally hits, it wasn't enough. I went for another Core Mind where Full Restore is used to make sure Psychic will knock the Water Turtle out next turn. That was scary. Here comes Alakazam. Psychic didn't knock it out of course, and when it set up Future Sight, I thought this might be it. While Alakazam healed back up, I did the same with Morning Sun. Espeon's HP still might be useful, but the very next Psychic hits and got a critical hit to knock it out, which was amazing. Rhydon is next, and I just have to hit, even though I'm scared thanks to the Sand Attack earlier. Last is Executor, and when Psychic did over half, I thought I might have it. And Egg Bomb even missed. That is like a dream come true. Another Psychic and Executor is done. Defeated. HP reaches 0. The champion is defeated. The champion's crown goes over to Espeon and Team Core Mind wins. This run was a lot of fun, and of course Espeon is the strongest evolution so far. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I see you in the next one.